Hey everyone, this is Kyle from Money at 30, and today I wanted to do something a bit different because I'm actually in Las Vegas right now for CES, and I'm staying for the first time at the Mirage, and I kind of wanted to share my experience with you. So the reason I wanted to spend at least a couple nights at this hotel specifically this time around is because MGM is getting ready to sell it to Hard Rock, and while that might take a while, I didn't want to pass up the chance to stay here and check it out while it's still what it is. So let's take a look around. Opened in 1989 and currently located between Caesar's Palace and Treasure Island, the Mirage is an iconic Polynesian-themed resort and casino. Not only is it known for its nightly volcano spectacle, but is also home to the popular Beatles Cirque du Soleil show Love, as well as magician Shin Lim and more. As for dining, there are a number of restaurants ranging in price, including Heritage Steak, Otoro, Diablos Cantina, CPK, and several others. For our stay at the Mirage, we booked a Resort King room for 2 nights, and I had a few thoughts overall. Alright, so let's run down some quick pros and cons about the Mirage in its current state. The first thing I have on my list of pros might surprise you, and that's actually good elevators. So we're staying on the 2nd floor, and I definitely feel silly about taking an elevator just 1 floor, but the good thing is that there are several different elevator banks divided up by floors. So specifically for us, there are 6 elevators serving floors 2 through 8. I figure that elevator access is probably not something that most people think about when booking a hotel, but having stayed at some hotels here where we've had to wait in long lines or even go up to go back just to come back down because of how rarely the elevators would come by or how many floors were serviced by that, it's definitely nice having a number of elevators that you can recall quickly and get where you need to go. The next item on my list of pros would be the room layout. I think it's a nice size. I like the furniture. It actually reminds us a little bit of the Bellagio, where we stayed there a few months ago, which would kind of make sense because both were developed by Steve Wynn back in the day. Several years have passed since then, so I don't know if that actually makes sense, but that's what it reminded us of. I really like the wood and the artwork behind the bed. The built-in where the TV, the minibar, and a little desk are is nice. And there's also a really comfortable love seat. Personally, I like the look of this room. My wife says it's a bit dated, but I'm on board with it, and I also really like the door design, which I think is really unique. Another thing in the pro column for the Mirage itself would be the location, and this is actually a bit farther north than we usually stay, and that's actually been really good for us this time to kind of mix it up. We were able to walk up to the new Resorts World. You're right next to Caesar's Palace with the Forum shops. And if you're looking for more affordable food options, then there's the Fashion Show Mall, which is a short walk away as well. So while I wouldn't call this the North Strip exactly, since technically the strip goes all the way up to like the stratosphere, depending on who you ask, I'd definitely call this north of Central. As far as price, I'd say I'd put that in the pro column as well. Thanks to my MGM Gold status, we actually got the first night for free, and then paid a base rate of $31 for the second night, although both nights had a $39 resort fee, so of course the resort fee outweighs the room fee, but that's just how it goes sometimes. While room rates are always fluctuating, so it's hard to say exactly if it's worth it, from what I've seen, I think it's pretty fair. It is an upgrade from like a Luxor Pyramid room or something like that, so I think it's worth it if you want to stay a bit further north on the Strip, which is usually Caesar's territory. While we transition to my list of cons, I'll share one that's kind of good and bad, and that would be the bathroom. The shower had nice water pressure and temperature, and I also really like the mirror lighting, but this part of the room is what I think is the most dated, and I definitely prefer a walk-in shower as opposed to the tub shower combo, but you know, it works. So the biggest thing on my list in terms of cons is a frustrating lack of power outlets near the bed. Over by the desk area, there is a nice power hub where you can plug in several devices with either USB or regular outlets, and you'll find a couple of other outlets around the room, but I was surprised to see that at least on my side of the bed near the nightstand, there wasn't a single plug to be found. In fact, if you trace the cord from the lamp, it actually goes behind the bed, making it inaccessible to me. Considering how many devices we all need to charge, especially at night, this was actually pretty frustrating, and I had to change my night routine a little bit and the way I do things just because of that, so hopefully, if these do get remodeled, they'll add some more plugs. Another con that's a bit more minor is the sound that the keys make when you scan them on your door. There's this chirping sound which isn't completely out of the ordinary, but you can hear them pretty well through your own door, and so it feels like people are breaking into your room every once in a while, which is a little weird. Similarly, I'll add that the walls are a bit thin, but that's Vegas for you. Another thing I don't really like about this room is that there's not a mini fridge by default that you can use for personal items. Now there is a mini bar that you can use for obviously pay items, and I think it's one of those where if you take an item, it'll charge you almost immediately after you remove it, so be careful with that. And there's not even a courtesy shelf like some of the other ones have. Now it does say that you can request a mini fridge from housekeeping. I didn't inquire how much that would cost, and we were only here for 2 nights, so it wasn't a big deal, but that is one of the reasons that I like some of Caesar's properties better, is because they tend to include the mini fridge by default, so you don't have to bother asking for one. Finally, and I'm pretty sure this one is more specific to our exact room here and not maybe for everyone's, but I don't know, our room is slanted. I'm not exactly sure how to prove this to you, so I'll try to show you some images here so you can see the slant. This was pretty noticeable when we first got into the room and when we were laying in bed for the first time, but then we did adjust to it. And I will say that it's not terribly steep, it's just, it's noticeable, it's there. So I'm not sure exactly what's up with that. We Googled a few things and didn't really see anyone talking about it, so maybe it is just this room or we're crazy, either way. So overall, with all those pros and cons, we did enjoy our stay at the Mirage. I'm glad I got to check it out. There's parts of this hotel that I really like. I think it's a nice looking casino. I like the theme is still here, but it's fairly subtle. And I definitely stay here again. I'm interested to see what Hard Rock does with it, but while it's an MGM, maybe I'll have more time to sneak in another stay. I'll admit that knowing that MGM was selling this property, I was a bit concerned that maybe they had let it go downhill, and I don't really think that that's been the case, at least from what we've seen. Another thing I wanted to mention that relates to staying here, even though you don't necessarily have to be staying here to take advantage of this, is an offer inside of the My Vegas Rewards app. If you're not familiar, My Vegas is a collection of mobile apps that are free to play, but you can earn points when you link your MLife Rewards number, which will now be known as MGM Rewards. Ahead of my trip, I looked into the My Vegas Slots app and noticed an offer for buy one get one sandwiches at the Mirage quick service location Snacks. After earning the required 4,000 points in the app, I was able to purchase the coupon. Once at the Mirage, I did need to visit the MLife desk located at the casino cage. There, they were able to see the offer and apply it to my card. Then, after ordering, I handed my MGM card to the cashier and the second sandwich was removed from our bill. Of course, there are limitations to these types of offers and coupons, so be sure to look at the fine print. This was actually my second time redeeming one of these My Vegas reward offers, and it worked really well. I saved $16, so definitely can't complain there. So hopefully you enjoyed this look at the Mirage, and eventually I'll have a full written review in the description box down below, but for now you can check out some of my other travel reviews down there. Also, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe because we have new videos every week. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time here on Money at 30.